let's run down the benefits of reading. Okay, reading. Read, read, read.
Read, 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 read. Read, read.
Reading is like your superpower, a form of a superpower. Obviously, okay, we don't want to go into, say, the benefits of reading and then just like reel off some dry, boring list of all the benefits of reading. Like, it makes you neurologically more robust, it increases your hand-eye coordination, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something a bit more, oh, how do I put this? A bit more philosophical, maybe. Philosophical? I don't know. But this has to do with buttressing your mind against that which others would have you believe. Which is important because you don't want to fall into the same traps that they fall into. But if you continue to think in the same way that they think, then you are bound to fall into the traps that they fall into. So reading is a way to change your perspective, and it's sort of, yeah, it's the mechanism by which you can adapt to the world around you without having to take on faith what other people tell you. Even though it is sort of technically another format of people telling you something, I think in writing something, you flesh it out so comprehensively that it becomes much more, it's higher resolution than is something that's merely spoken to you. Anyway, there are in the world adversarial external forces. Two seemingly innocuous examples are advertisements and fast food restaurants. Advertisements will seed in your mind a sense of dissatisfaction and discontent, which then causes you to take the next logical step of purchasing whatever it is that they happen to be presenting before you. That seems like an innocuous form of manipulation of the human mind, but it nonetheless is a manipulation of your mind. The same can be said for fast food, where this junk food is optimized for certain metrics, salt, fat, and sugar, and these hit the right buttons. The optimization of these metrics hit the right buttons in your evolved capacity to taste. In the past, in an ancestral setting, that evolved capacity to taste would have indicated nutrition. You know, if something was just that sweet, then it's a proxy indication to say, yeah, continue consuming that. Whereas the junk food in the fast food restaurants has gamed that evolved system. Again, might seem innocuous, but it is nonetheless manipulating you. A third form of this, a third example is culture at large just influencing the way you move through life. So I think it needs to be said that culture is an oppressive force, just inherently. And there's nothing sort of bad or good or bad about that. You have to, as an individual, be tamed and directed in life. And culture is that force that tames and directs. But for some, myself included, that sort of domestication and direction feels like a self-betrayal. I don't want to do what my culture is offering me. I don't want to take the path that my culture says, here, go down this path. I don't want to fall into that well-worn groove. So that's just another form of manipulation of the human mind by some adversarial external force. And I don't know, just a quick side note, all three of those examples, the fast food, the advertisements, and culture at large, they seem to be innocuous, manipulative forces. But maybe that's just in their cryptic nature, that they give this idea that they're innocuous, when in actual fact they're not. Because they are manipulating you, nonetheless. And I don't want to be manipulated like that. Anyway, what reading does is it offers you an alternative direction. You actually can now take this higher resolution idea that somebody has gone through the effort of writing down and formulating in such a way that it's clear and cogent. You can take that and assimilate it and then use it to inform the direction that you take your life. That's the superpower that reading has to offer you. You can take these high resolution ideas that people have invested time and energy into fleshing out, and you can use them to your own advantage. You can see where it is that you were blind to beforehand, but that is full of opportunity. You can almost co-create a niche that was there without you knowing it, but because you now know it, you get to now influence it yourself and create it yourself. And that is where an individual becomes empowered to become who they know they can become without betraying themselves and having to fall into a well-worn groove that culture offers them. So that's the idea.